Okay, here we go again with another video tour for WiiWare Tittle. This is Josh from WiiFolder, and today we're going to be checking out Animal Panic. And I do want to mention that I've heard some rumors the name might be changed for the North American launch, so for now we're just going to call it Animal Panic. Here we are at the game's main menu, and there's a bunch of different options here. Starting with the top left one, which is Adventure, it has you going through all the different stages. To the right is How to Play. It kind of shows you a little video explaining everything and tells you how to play. Here are the Critter games, which are basically a collection of 4 different mini games, and they're pretty fun. And then over to the left of that is a co-op slash challenge mode, which is going to be you and your buddies kind of working together. It's a lot like adventure mode, only you can play with up to 4 people instead of just 2. Down here is a marathon mode, which has you playing really hard, difficult stages, and you kind of see how far you can get. There's also options and credit. Credit is pretty self-explanatory, it shows you the credits. Now with the options here, you have a couple things you can do. You can change the volume for the sound effects and also change the volume for the background music. Pretty self-explanatory, not a whole lot of options. Also shows you how to play, which is something I'm going to be doing anyways in this video tour, so we can just move on. Today we're going to focus on the adventure mode as well as the Critter games. We're going to start with the adventure mode, and as I mentioned, it's for 1 or 2 people. I'm going to select 2 people so that you can get a better idea as to how that works. You can start a new game, continue, or select a stage. Oh, I think we're going to start a new game. And the game has some fun little cutscenes, like you see right here. Now the basic concept of Animal Panic is somewhat simple, but it's also very addictive and fun. You have to work to separate all the different animals on the stage here by building fences around them. So for example, you have to separate the chickens from the horses, from the rabbits, and so on and so forth. But you don't need to have all of one animal in one single fenced-in area. For example, maybe I can have 2 rabbits in one area and then another rabbit in another. Just as long as they're not in a fence with a different animal, you're going to be okay. But you do get more points if you have, like, all the rabbits in one fence. Controlling the game is really simple. You just hold the Wii remote on its side. The D-pad is handled for all your movement. The 2 button is a hot button, and the 1 button is what you're going to press to begin building a fence. The game also has power-ups. You'll notice right there a present fell from the sky, and there's a bunch of different power-ups. The one that I got right now is actually a shield, so I can run into any animal without it taking a life away from me, as long as that shield is still there. It does go away after a few seconds. And there we go! We managed to complete this stage, and after every stage it gives you a bunch of statistics, such as your score, your remaining life bonus, your time bonus, and then your overall total. Also to the right, it gives you your high scores. We got the Golden Cock Trophy, and it also gives you your adventure mode total. Now the game actually features a really nice variety of different themed worlds, and you would usually play 4 stages per world. But we're going to jump ahead here, just because I want you guys to be able to see, you know, more than just the 4 farm stages. And we're going to check out some of the Outback next. Of course, right off the bat here, if you look in the top right corner, you're going to notice that there's a couple of crocodiles who are chasing after me, and they bite me. Also in the top right corner is where you'll look to see how many lives you have left. Every time you so much as touch an animal, you're going to lose a life. And I'm playing with a friend here, so we actually have to share the lives. In the adventure mode, you get 3 lives per stage. So let's go ahead and move on to the swamp area now, and this is probably going to be the last one that we check out. As you can see, there are skunks here, which if they spray you will stun you. There's also these little rabbit holes. The trick is that you want to hurry up and fence in the rabbit holes, because the rabbits can actually go back and forth between those 2 holes, which makes it kind of tricky because they can actually escape the fences in a way. Now another move you can pull off is walk up to a fence and shake the Wii remote to kick it down. This is really helpful if you want to get rid of a fence to combine a group of rabbits or some animal together. Also, if you just want to get rid of a fence. Just in case you haven't noticed this yet, once you get the correct animals fenced in, little green check marks are going to hover above their head. And as you can imagine, this helps you determine which animals need to be properly fenced in still. Alright, we're going to move on to checking out some of the Critter games, in other words, mini games. The first one here is called Snowball Soccer, and it's pretty simple, but it's also kind of fun. Kind of like stupid fun, I guess is the best way to describe this one. You're going to be moving around with the D-pad. The 1 button is your kick button, so you're going to kick the snowball with the 1 button, and you can also kick your opponent to temporarily stun them. And then the 2 button is what you're going to be using to jump, just like in the normal game. You can play all the mini games with up to 4 different people, which is a lot more fun than just playing 2. And as you probably assumed, the goal here is to kick the snowballs into your colored goal. The little giraffes on the side will also kick the snowball, kind of add some randomness to things, and it's pretty fun. Moving on to the next minigame, which is called Chicken Catch, and just as the name suggests, the object here is to run around collecting your colored chicken. Now for the 2-player mode, I'm the red player for example, so I can pretty much run into the red ones as well as the yellow and the green ones, just as long as I don't run into the blue ones. If you run into a color that isn't yours, you get negative points, and it's the first person to get so many points. Honestly, this one is really not that fun. Here's one that is a lot of fun, and it's pretty funny and exciting to play. This one's called Chicken Net Survival, and it's actually quite simple. All you have to do is walk around in this small, fenced-in area and avoid being touched by any of the animals. So each player can also jump with the 2 button, and you can kick each other with the 1 button to temporarily stun that person and hope that an animal gets them. As time goes by, more and more animals are going to drop into the fence area, and they're also going to start running around much faster. So this one's pretty funny, and with a group of friends, you know, you're definitely going to start laughing and kind of get into playing this one over and over again. Now the final minigame here is actually my favorite. It's a lot of fun. It's called Fence Trap, and it's basically a game of Tron, but in a farm environment. Essentially, your character is going to be stuck on like an overdrive automatic fence building mode, and the only thing you can do is control them with the D-pad, so you can move up, down, left, or right. And the goal here is just to not run into any other fences or any of the other players. The last person standing is the winner, and this one's a really funny minigame. I've played this one a lot with 3 other friends, and it's pretty intense. Alright, but I think that's going to conclude this video tour for the WiiWare game Animal Panic. It's a really fun game. It's 1,000 Wii points, so it's about $10. It's for up to 4 different players. I was pretty surprised by the fact that there's actually a really good number of animals in the game, and they all sort of interact with each other differently. The lions will roar to stun you, the crocodiles will chase after you and eat other animals, the chickens will lay eggs and the eggs will hatch. There's a ton of different animals, and they're all kind of cleverly programmed into the game. There's also a good amount of clever power-ups in the game as well. A slab of meat can be tossed to attract the animals that would normally eat meat. Maybe a carrot can be tossed to attract horses and rabbits and stuff like that. You know, there's a stopwatch which would stop all the animals. There's just a bunch of different power-ups and a bunch of different animals. And it's a really fun game, so I would definitely recommend checking this out if you plan on playing it with other people.